Daymare 1998 is a game I've had my eyes on for a good while now. As a fan of survival horror and Resident Evil, Daymare is said to be a little bit more like the older Resident Evil games in certain aspects, so of course that absolutely piqued my interest. And the game has a pretty funny story. It actually started out as a Resident Evil 2 mod project, but after Capcom was like, nope, you need to stop this, they was like, okay, we're going to rebrand it, we're going to call it Daymare and make our own game. So is the game actually any good? Well, come with me on my journey unlocking all 46 trophies for the platinum and figuring it out. So to actually unlock the platinum, there's a bunch of collectibles and a lot of miscellaneous trophies that are also very missable. We'll also need to play the game on the Daymare difficulty, which is the hardest difficulty in the game. So let's dive into Daymare 1998. I begin the game and first impressions honestly are not that great. The graphics are pretty poor and the controls are also a little bit wonky and feel janky, so definitely not the best first impressions. But as I'm making my way through, I shoot a shaving cream can. There it is. Jurassic Thief. Continuing on, I complete chapter 1. Chapter 1 done. Then during chapter 2 we get a nice little reference to the red balloon, which is of course from the It films. Pennywise balloon. Later on during the same chapter we start playing as a new character called Sam. We're inside a fire watch tower. Once we leave that we make our way down the road, and on our way down there we find some arrows in a tree. Someone's a terrible shot. And then heading down a road and we find a tractor. Just to the right of the tractor around the corner there's another missable trophy. We just need to walk up to this oak barrel and interact with it. Not even sure what that's referencing. Then another little Easter egg and a reference to the movie Scream. Stabbed. While exploring the hospital I find some cards on a table. Maverick. I then shoot off 50 enemy limbs, becoming a butcher. As I'm making my way through the basement of the hospital, I get attacked by this horrible looking thing and perform a melee attack on what they call the Melted Man, and it was a bit of a mistake. I get grabbed and free myself for the 20th time. Zombies, man, always getting up in your personal space. So for the next trophy unlocked, there's this kind of little hacking mini game. You'll find these terminals, and when you hack them, you'll sometimes get documents or extra ammo, sometimes even collectibles. They're pretty much always worth opening, and they're super easy to open. As long as you've got a hacking cable, you can get into these things. You just simply press L1 and R1 when they're in the designated area. As long as you do that, you also keep the cable, so you can keep using it over and over again. I completed a very hard terminal for Hijacker. I then knocked back my 20th enemy with a melee attack. This move's actually quite useful in this difficulty because we're on the hardest difficulty. You really don't get much ammo. So a good way to save a little bit of ammo is to use the knockback move. You've just got to be super careful because of course you've got to get close to them, and if they grab you they do take a big chunk of health. Then, still playing as Sam, still venturing around the hospital. We're doing these tasks for a doctor. He's an absolute douche. As we're doing missions for this guy, we end up in a garden area where we needed to get a valve. In that area, we find our first unlockable weapon, which is the beautiful Magnum. And then we finally finish chapter 2. Then right at the beginning of chapter 3, there's another missable trophy for finding the developer that's doing a little bit of overtime. Take out my 50th enemy with a headshot.
Then I can safely say my work here is done.
Now this next area was pretty cool. If you've played Resident Evil 3, you'll be very familiar with this little area that it's kind of replicating. So this next trophy was for crafting every type of rapid use fluid. If you're familiar with survival horror and Resident Evil games, you know you can use ingredients to combine to different stuff. So to simplify it, you can combine to make a health fluid, a shield fluid, and an accuracy fluid. And then once you've crafted that, you can also combine two different ones. So you can combine a health and a shield together. And once you've done that, you can take, for example, a health and a shield and combine them into a bigger version of it. Or you can also do health and health. So basically there's 9 different combinations. Once you crafted all 9 of them, the trophy's yours. I then find this poor guy wasting away in a barrel. Find a cool ass pinball machine that's a clear reference to Terminator. You even get sound effects and everything. Rat Terminator. Oh, that's pretty cool. Not long after that, I found my final hexacore secret room. So during chapter 2, when we were playing as Sam, we got this device on our arm. And once we get close to one of these secret rooms, it'll kind of start beeping. Bro, it's around here somewhere. There's not really many in the game. I think there's only 6. And they're all super easy to find because of how obvious and long range the beeping is. There we go. Hound. It was then time for another Easter egg and another reference. This one, Back to the Future. We escaped the sewers and turned the power back on, which opened up the gas station. Once we went inside, there was a DeLorean just kind of chilling out, and next to the DeLorean, there was a flux capacitor. Pretty cool reference. It's going to take 1.21 gigawatts. And once we pressed the button, the vehicle lifted up, and right underneath it was a nice desert eagle just chilling out, waiting for us to steal. So I did, obviously. Thanks, officer. My hand cannon now. After I grabbed that, I literally just turned around, went outside, and there was a body on the ground. My final ID tag. Oh, final one, surgeon. I continued my way through chapter 3 and I got to this location where we needed to figure out a puzzle. We needed to get the code for the door. I took care of all the zombies in the area, and then when you attempt the code, you basically just put in the wrong code and then wait for about 30 seconds, which will trigger your character to start talking, and that will unlock Deja Vu.
All Execore agents have an ID that they always carry with them. Sure, I can find it if I look hard enough.
With the code done, we could head through and complete chapter 3. So moving into chapter 4, I was making my way through the town and we needed a key to open up the warehouse. So I made my way down this back alley, and just before the key, there's a body on the ground that's basically exploded. Once I go over and interact with it, I unlock this one. So for this next one, I shot my 5th false enemy. Basically, poor Sam suffers from hallucinations, so every now and again you'll think you're getting attacked by a zombie or something. Now, these hallucinations can actually grab you, but once they do no damage. We needed to avoid that and shoot 5 of them. Get out of the Daymare syndrome. Was shoot at 5 false enemies. Shortly after, we got another freaking reference, this time for the Silent Hill franchise, which is probably my 2nd favourite horror franchise. While we're playing as Sam, we revisit the city area that we'd already gone through. We make our way up the apartment because we need to find a key for a restaurant to advance the story. On the way up there, one of the floors, we kind of do a little detour and go around, and there's this body kind of like in the chair looking at the TV out the window. Where's the fog? Oh, that's a cool reference. We just need some chains on the door now. I then had to take out a boss. Nothing too crazy here, pretty easy. A couple of zombies as well in the background. Just take them all out. I do have my magnum to take them out pretty easily though. 3 shots to his face and he kind of like goes down, and then you're just free to wail on him. But before I finish the chapter, I go back into this room and interact with a magazine. Then for this next one, I needed to perform 10 exchanges at the Hive terminals. So the Hive terminals work a lot like the storage boxes from Resident Evil games. You can save your game there and you can do these little trades. So you just basically take certain items to get other items. We do 10 of those for this trophy. There's also a neat little trick. So technically if you wanted, let's just say you could do one trade. You do that, reload the game and just do that 10 times. Oh, nice. Final one. And I then finished chapter 4. Right at the very beginning of starting chapter 5, we just kind of move forward a little bit into the right. On one of the screens, someone's been playing a game, we just interact with that. And now we're kind of nearing the end of the game, so I got a bunch of collectible trophies. So the first one, I got Bookworm for getting all the documents. I then unlocked Hunting Season for spotting all the puppet deer. These are little things that you need to shoot. Get out the way. Reached 50% overdose, which just basically means if you're already fully healed and stuff like that, just heal a little bit more. Ooh, addicted. Bro, this is so cheesy. The boss fights in this game are so bad. I literally just got him stuck here. Right, I've realized I can't keep shooting him. I need to like make him kneel in the middle here, and then I can like electrocute him or whatever. There we go. Right, now I just need to press the thing, shock him. Almost as shocking as this boss fight. Good night, mate. I then unlocked Disc Jockey for getting all of the audio logs. Ooh, Disc Jockey. I then found a researcher's body.
Last voice recording of Dr.
Poor guy. Then, during a boss fight, we're kind of running away from the thing. It's a little bit of a chase sequence. But as we're running away, there's a door on the side that we needed to find and interact with. Ah, there it is. Nice. Codename broken. And then, after the absolute pain, which was the final boss. Bro, these boss fights, I swear, are so terrible. Now I've just got him stuck on this car. I wouldn't cheese it, but like, I've had to retry this thing so many times because the game keeps glitching. And this guy is an absolute sponge. I've had to put about 300 bullets in him so far or something. Oh, it's glitched again. I'm gonna have to restart again. I can't aim or shoot or nothing, man. This boss fight is so crap. Oh my god, finally. That boss fight was so bad. I was getting flashbacks of the Walking Dead Destinies with that boss fight. He was a bullet sponge, and worst of all, my guns kept breaking. I couldn't reload, sometimes I couldn't shoot, so I had to keep restarting because of it. It's so annoying. I finished the game on Daymare mode, and finished chapter 5 as well.
Fortune favors the bold.
Boom, there it is, Slaughter. Finished the game on Daymare mode. Honestly, it really wasn't that bad. The only hard part was that last part, then that final boss, and again, mostly because it was super glitchy. So once I was done with all that, I needed 4 more trophies to unlock the platinum. The first 2 that I went for was utilizing 100 fast reloads and 100 slow reloads. So the way this works, there's kind of 2 modes when you start the game. One of them they call modern day, which is if you just reload as normal. But then the old school mode, you need to go into your inventory and manually reload the weapon. And then when you do reload the weapon, if you've got any bullets left in the magazine will fall on the floor and you'll have to pick it back up. Basically, I needed to just tap square, doing 100, and hold square, doing 100 as well. So I literally just shot 1 bullet and then kept reloading. Boom, quick hands. Take your time. And then the final 2 trophies I needed was Immortal for finishing the game without dying, and Runner, which was for finishing the game in 4 hours or less. Now, both of these seem pretty difficult when you just kind of read them out loud, but honestly, my first playthrough didn't take that long, and that was watching cutscenes without skipping them, not knowing where I'm going, and grabbing all of the collectibles and stuff like that. So I went in really not worried about doing it in 4 hours. Plus, I was able to play on the easiest difficulty, which obviously helped with finishing the game without dying. There's also a little trick where if you do die, just go back to the main menu and then load back in, and the game will just think you never died. I didn't actually need to do this because the game was so easy anyway on the easy difficulty, and I knew exactly where I was going and what I was doing. And even for puzzles, you can literally just press L1 and it'll skip the puzzle, so you don't even have to do them, which of course makes beating it in 4 hours even easier. So yeah, even though on the surface both of those sound like they'd be really difficult, they're honestly not, and with little effort and really no difficulty at all, I unlocked the final 2 trophies. GG, mates. GG. Boom. There it is. Immortal trophy. Finish the game without dying. And I should also get, boom, runner. Finish the game in 4 hours or less. I wouldn't be surprised if I was under 3 hours, to be honest. And there's the platinum, the key to the city. Unlock all freaking trophies.